Hey guys, I know this video was recorded on the weekend just gone by, so apologies about it being uploaded a few days after I actually recorded it. I just didn't have any time over the weekend and I got sidetracked with a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, on to the show.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Sunday late afternoon episode of Ted's Booze Cellar with me, your most gracious host, Ted. Welcome to the premier alcohol review show here on YouTube. This is a pretty good spirited episode. I saw my family down by the seaside yesterday. My mum said I'm a good uncle, and generally, yeah, I think I'm just in a good mood. Also, my football team won yesterday, and my brother and his wife got me some rather nice gifts to review on Ted's Booze Cellar. And the first one I'm going to review is going to be from my brother's wife, my sister-in-law. And now, I haven't reviewed a gin in quite some time on this show, so I was kind of looking for one that I could review that would be a bit more palatable than the last few, because I've realised as I've gotten older, like grapefruit and pink raspberry gin don't always agree with my stomach, but those are quite trendy flavours at the moment. So I just wanted something that was like a plain gin, but like with interesting flavours that I maybe not considered before in the combination of gin, because gin obviously takes less time and less sort of like checks and balances to make than something like whiskey. There's still a lot that goes into it. It's a very complicated process and you have to get it just right. It's very, very specific how you have to make a good gin. And Scotland, I think in the past, as well as producing some good scotches and other whiskies, and it's got a pretty good consistent history of producing decent gin as well. I've had a few from there, and they're usually pretty damn solid, I must say. And this one in particular from my brother's wife is called Glaswe-gin, because it's from Glasgow and it's a gin. Puns. But no, it's, I must say, probably, in my opinion, out of the spirit, out of just spirits, like not encountering all drinks, but just at least in terms of the spirits that I've reviewed on this show, this has my favourite bottle. Simple, interesting, little bit different, but it's simple and you remember it. That's the main thing. It's just got a clean design and it's easy to remember. You're going to remember the square bottle with white background and black writing on it that's just very simple, you know, Roman New Times Roman, is it? I haven't used that font in years anyway. But it's, yeah, it's just really simple. Really, really simple. I'll give this a solid 10 out of 10. And it's got the description of all the primary sort of ingredients that are on it here. So you've got milk thistle, Italian juniper, coriander, angelica, orange flower, chamomile flower, pink peppercorns. That's a solid bet for a gin. And bay leaf, which I think will go really well in something like a gin. So yeah, really nice. Tells you what's in it. Yeah, I love it. And it says on the back here, Glasgow is a fascinating city with a world-renowned history of invention and innovation. In the spirit of this, excuse the pun, we have embarked on our own journey into our own invention, the Glaswe-gin. I don't know how they're calling reference to that being a pun, not the actual name of the drink, but yeah, to each their own. So this is a 41.1% alcohol volume gin, pretty strong compared to some of the ones you'll find in most supermarkets. And it says on their website here, our gin is bottled and distilled in the heart of Glasgow's Tradeston area. And it was important to us that every element of Glaswe-gin reflected the city and the people that inspired it, with a nod to Glasgow's industrial past. The distillery that we have used is found under a railway bridge, and coincidentally our founder spent years staring at the very spot the distillery now sits in, while he waited for his bus home from school across the road. The tracks above our distillery used to serve Glasgow's famous central station, linking Scotland's industrial heart with the world. And then it says here, a real thing of beauty, this handcrafted artisan copper alembic may still be manufactured by Alembic in Portugal, but it's reminiscent of something that could have been crafted by the side of the Clyde. Copper has been used for stills for as long as anyone has been distilling. It keeps the distillate sweet and has excellent heat transfer properties, which helps in distributing heat evenly and in cooling the vapours to reduce bacterial contamination and absorb unwanted sulphur compounds. We distill using a traditional direct-fired copper pot, still in batches for maximum copper contact. Increased copper contact makes our spirit famously smooth, and as contact with copper strips out impurities in the spirit, which are the sulfides, making an even smoother sip. And then it goes into a little bit more about the ingredients that I mentioned earlier and what's in it and how they impact the flavour. This is really good stuff. Like, they keep the description of the drink and the business on their website really simple and just to the point, and I really appreciate that, 'cause some independent distilleries can kind of go a bit too far in that regard and sort of like really fluff and flower out the language. But I like it that the people at Glaswe-gin have just kept it really simple. So definitely visit their website. They've got a gin appreciation club. They've got a really nice section here about themselves, the bottle, the awards they've won, everything. And they've also got a shop here. You can buy their raspberry and rhubarb gin, some gin sets, wedding favours, like all sorts of jazz. It's really interesting. So yeah, give their website a look. I think we should support more independent breweries like this. But yeah, I will say, so far, the luck of the bottle, solid 10 out of 10. Now, let's have a quick snifter to see what our first impression's like. Oh, very subdued for a gin, actually. It's very smooth. It's a very smooth nose indeed, yeah. Definitely getting the citrus rind. Black peppercorn, not so much, but there's a tiny tint of it in the after smell. Getting a little bit of vanilla, and not sure if that's quite right, but then don't know how to identify the angelica. There's a bit of coriander, but could be more. Can definitely smell the juniper, the orange flower, the chamomile flower, the pink peppercorns, the bay leaf. Oh, there's a tiny bit of the milk thistle actually. So yeah, all of the flavours there are represented in the nose. So it's a tiny bit sort of imbalanced in some very minor ways, but generally speaking, it smells lovely. So I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10 for the nose. I think it smells lovely. Here, let's pour it into the glass to see if it smells any different in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and savour a little bit in the bottle itself, so we can try it on its own without any tonic water. Because I'm going to mix this with tonic water, as is the way with gin. Don't give me into that silliness saying that it should be mixed with lemonade. It can be, and it can be nice, but it's better with tonic water, let me tell you. Oh wow. There's a lot stronger nose in the glass, of course, because it's... Actually, not of course, because you'd assume it to be more concentrated and stronger in the bottle, but in the glass, it's very strong. I can imagine the harshness of it maybe turning a couple of people off, but it's still a good nose. Generally very well balanced, pretty smooth in general. I'll give the nose in the glass a good, still solid 8 out of 10. It smells really good. But anyway, we won't know what this sucker tastes like until we've had our regular scheduled palate cleanser. So before we see what this sucker tastes like. On to the most important part of the video, so let's see what this sucker tastes like. And to everyone at home, bottoms up. First of all, let's try the gin on its own, and then we'll try it with tonic water. Ooh, ooh, doggy, that is smooth. That's really smooth. Yeah. Fantastic. Really good. Possibly might be the smoothest gin I've ever had. Incredible. Wow. Yeah, I'm keeping this bottle as well. This is lovely stuff. But yeah. I've got nothing. Yeah, that's the best. That's incredible. That's quite spectacular. Easy. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. That's the best gin I've ever had. That's absolutely astounding. That's fantastic. Now let's have it with a bit of tonic water and see if that changes the flavour anything at all. I don't think it will, because this has been spectacular, but I think it's worth trying it with tonic, because that's obviously the traditional way to have gin. And this is Central Waitrose and Partners Indian tonic water with no artificial flavourings. I just thought I'd keep it very simple. I do love a good gin and tonic. I think my favourite kind of just simple spirit mixer that's not necessarily a cocktail will probably be a vodka with lime and soda. It has to be fresh lime. And I also quite like a whiskey, particularly like a bourbon mixed with ginger ale. That's always quite nice. Thing is, with like Scottish scotch, I generally just like to have it neat, to be honest, after a meal or along with a nice bitter pint of brown ale. But anyway, another quick palate cleanser. And then on to the most important part of the video once again, which is to see what this sucker tastes like with tonic water. Yeah, the floral flavours really complement like the sort of the tartness of the tonic water really well, actually. Yeah, I'd definitely say like a simple tonic water with like no artificial flavourings and like low sugar. Definitely the way to go with this one, because I feel like you need that simpler flavour to complement the vibrancy of this gin in particular, because there's a lot of sort of mellow flavours, but like combined together they do create something really quite unique. There's sort of like slightly non-British sort of like foreign sort of like influences of like the coriander and the pink peppercorns sort of like really stands out quite nicely against the juniper and the sort of like tanginess of the orange flower. And the bay leaf and milk thistle just add that tiny little touch on the end there. The only thing is, I'm not really sure how to identify the angelica, but I'd say that's not too much of an issue because it does sort of just feel like a very sort of well-balanced drink that sort of has all-encompassing aspects to it. So I'd say it definitely complements the flavour of what there is of it there. So yeah. So I could have probably chosen nicer tonic water, to be fair, but I think even still, it's still a solid 10 out of 10. Either way you have it. So quite frankly, you could have this neat or with tonic water and it would still be absolutely spectacular. So yeah, honestly, to my sister-in-law, thank you very much. This is absolutely superb. Like, this is honestly fantastic. It's the best gin I've ever had. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, share and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Booze Cellar, let me know in the comments section down below. And if you want to check out anything else I do online, I'll leave the links to all that in the video description down below. But until next time, have fun, stay safe with whatever you're doing, don't do the thing I wouldn't do, wash your hands, drink responsibly, know your limits. I'll see you guys at the bar next time on Ted's Booze Cellar. Bye-bye for now.